Welcome to another Who's Who at WNYLRC. I'm your host, Omar Brown. I'm the co-chair for WNYLRC Preservation Committee. And my guest today is Grace Trimper. Grace Trimper is a part-time assistant librarian for UB Archives and a part-time librarian for SUNY Erie. Hi, Grace. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi, Omar. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Could you tell me more about yourself and the work that you do for the libraries?
Sure. Well, I am a librarian at two different institutions. I work part-time at both, which is kind of the gig when you first get out of library school.
Right.
I only did a couple of years ago. So I work part-time as an assistant librarian for university archives at University of Buffalo. And then I also work as a part-time college librarian at SUNY Erie. And my roles there are pretty different. At University Archives, I mostly work with our digital archivist,
Okay.
and I assist her in preserving the born digital materials that come in.
Right.
Then at SUNY Erie, I am a reference librarian, and also I do information literacy instruction. But my special project that is near and dear to my heart, I also work to manage and revive the college archives at SUNY Erie, which I love.
Oh, okay. That sounds like a lot of work you're doing for both places there. You ever get tired?
I do, but I really like the work, and I've been working from home too, so it's been a little bit different. But I really enjoy all of my responsibilities at both of the places I work.
Oh, great, great. Now, can you tell me any particular skill sets you may have acquired over the period of time of working in both of these locations, whether it's before? Well, you say you graduated out of college and came directly into these particular positions, correct?
Yep, that's right.
Okay, so what skill sets you feel you picked up that helps you on your day-to-day routine?
Well, there are a lot. It's like I said, I had just graduated from my master's program when I started as an assistant librarian at University Archives. And then like a month later, I started at SUNY Erie. But I had been working as a student assistant in University Archives before then, but pretty much everything I know about archives and preservation, I know from working at University Archives. I had learned a little bit while getting my degree, but most of what I know is from there. And I mean, I didn't know anything about digital preservation either. So now I
Right.
know how to create metadata. I know how to create Dublin Core and PB Core metadata in XML. And I know how to use EAD tools, that's encoded archival description. So we use ArchiveSpace at
Okay.
University Archives. And then we also use Preservica, excuse me, which is our digital preservation software, which we use to store and provide access to all of our digital materials in university archives. And then at SUNY Erie, I have picked up a lot of skills that I didn't have before. So um, even though in my undergraduate studies, I did have an education minor, but I didn't know that I would become an instruction librarian.
Right.
So that I've had some really good experience with, and I'm starting to come into my own as an instruction librarian, which is nice. And then also reference services, one-on-one kind of research help, which helps both. Well, of course, I have to do it at SUNY Erie, but it helps me at University Archives as well, because there are a lot of reference interactions there too. Not so much face-to-face over this past year, but hopefully I'll get to do some of that again soon.
Okay.
And then also with the college archives at SUNY Erie, I got some nice experience with grant writing, or I wrote a successful grant application for the WNYLRC Access and Innovation Grant, which we're using to digitize some early college newspapers. So that's a project that I've been working on right now that I'm really enjoying, and I'm really, really looking forward to getting these newspapers both preserved and to provide access to them online so that more people can use them for their research.
Wow, that's amazing. It's truly amazing.
Well, thank
I
you.
want to backtrack on something here. You said instructional librarian. I've never heard that term before. What is the difference between an instructional librarian as opposed to a regular librarian?
Well, there are all different kinds of librarians who do all kinds of different things. So For example, some of my colleagues, one of my colleagues at SUNY Erie is, well, we're all college librarians, but we all function in a different way in our library. So one of my colleagues does most of the cataloging for our campus. Another one of my colleagues does most of the acquisitions and collection development. And we do have another librarian who is in charge of instruction. But all of us, part of our job responsibilities is doing information literacy instruction. So our job is we go into the classroom, or students come to our computer lab in the library, and now we have a new classroom too. And then we show them the ropes basically of the library, show them how to find the materials that they need to complete the assignment that they've been given, and also just where to go for help, that kind of thing, answer any questions they might have. But yeah, that and reference are my two main responsibilities at SUNY Erie.
All right, thank you. So here's the final question. Can you tell us something that most people will find shocking to know about you?
Well, I don't think a lot of people that I know professionally know that I'm a really big fan of horror movies.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a new one for me. What type of horror movies that comes to mind that you like to share that you like a lot?
The dreaded question. It's really hard for me to pick favorites, but I tend to go for, depending on the mood I'm in, I think that my top categories are like cheesy 80s movies.
Okay.
And then also I really like 90s teen type horror movies. So in early 2000s. So I don't know if anyone watching this knows what Ginger Snaps is, but that's one of my favorites. And I also really like Japanese horror.
What's that? What's that last one you just said?
Ginger Snaps.
Ginger Snaps?
Yeah, it's a werewolf movie about
that's what that is?
girl.
Oh, okay. I've never even heard of that. Oh, okay. And you say you like Japanese horror too?
Yep.
I never knew there was such a thing as Japanese horror.
Yeah. Japan makes horror movies, and a lot of them are really, really good.
Oh, okay. Well, that comes to the end of our interview today. Grace, I want to thank you for joining us today. And I'm your host, Omar Brown. Join us next time on our next interview. Thank you and have a good day. Members of WNYLRC are able to utilize a number of programs and services, including archival and digital services, Ask Us 24/7 chat reference, Ask the Lawyer, Empire Library Delivery, Hospital Library Services, InfoPass, and a professional development. Please visit www.WNYLRC.org to learn more.